Dana Denha here, and this is the Ann Arbor Summer Festival series, where we'll chat with people in the know about Ann Arbor's most anticipated festival. Top of the Park offers so much in the name of art, from one-of-a-kind performances to movies. Joining me is Mike Michelon, Executive Director, and Kari Landry, Marketing and Programs Manager for the Ann Arbor Summer Festival. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having us back.
So we were talking a little bit before the show, and I said, but basically the Top of the Park is a never-ending array of music this year. There's so much music that I couldn't even dare write it down on my card because I would need like 8 cards to fill it up. Okay. So do you guys want to talk to me about what we can expect to hear this year at Top of the Park?
Yeah, I think that there's a great lineup. It's hard just to pick a few because I think that there's 87.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just concerts, and so it's on 2 stages every night, starting on Friday, June 8th.
Every single night,
except for Monday.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
You're
yeah,
blacked out on Monday. So,
but every other night. So Friday, June 8th through Sunday, July 1, and there's music on 2 stages. There's the O&W acoustic stage in the Grove area. From 5 to 7 p.m. and then starting at 7 on, there is music on the Rackham stage. And a lot of really great artists. There's a number of things that we're excited for. It's hard to, sometimes people come up and ask us to circle a couple of things on the calendar that we really like, and sometimes we'll do that. Other times we'll say just spend some time on the web, watch some videos.
Well, if there's 87, I'm sure like you, Mike, have not maybe heard a few of those 87.
Yeah, I certainly know everything in the lineup. I may be more familiar with some than others. I would say that the way it typically works, and I think that this is great about festivals, that people circle a couple, and that's fine. And you come early, and you stay late, and you just kind of let it happen to you and discover a few things.
And if you're not into it, you can just walk away.
Right. We hope you won't walk away. I think you'll be into it.
Yeah. So you have some returning bands, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every single So Long Sunday, our last Sunday at Top of the Park, George Bedard and the Kingpins closes out the entire festival for us. And then we have a lot of local favorites like Mad Cat, who comes every year, and Lady Sunshine and the X Band. And then we also have a lot of more local acoustic favorites as well that play on the O&W stage. And this year, something that's really cool about the O&W acoustic stage is that we've started to do more jazz combos on that stage. So Friday nights and a couple other times throughout the festival, there's going to be some of the local jazz stars from the Ann Arbor community in Southeast Michigan. They're going to be playing. So like the Jesse Kramer Trio or Janelle Reichman, I mean, they're going to be there, and they're going to be with their bands, and we're kind of trying to push the stages in a couple different directions.
So on Fridays, in the first set, there'll be a singer-songwriter still, maybe more of the R&B soul variety, and then in the later set on that stage, a jazz combo. So I think that'll be a great. There's a lot of great jazz music in Ann Arbor. A lot of standing bars that have standing days that are jazz nights, and we're hoping that Friday night, at least during that period of time, will be the Summer Festival will be the spot to check that out.
You have to go.
Yeah,
right.
Enjoy it outside for once, you know.
Absolutely. It's a great happy hour time. People kind of wander down from work around 5, and great way to get the night going, and then kind of transition over to the Rackham stage. And I think that so much of the music that we present is danceable, which I think is great. There's wonderful people watching.
I love watching people.
There is also a certain comfort in kind of the anonymity of numbers, and so if you want to bust a move, just know that especially after it gets dark, there's a lot of people, and so no one will be focusing on you if you're more shy about your dancing.
You know, I actually appreciate, especially like they say, white guys don't like to dance, because it's like, just get out there and do it. Who cares what you look like?
Yeah.
Like, it does not matter.
Absolutely.
If you go out and have fun, that's like the most important part when you're busting a move.
Absolutely. And there's a couple of days where there'll be dance instruction, and it's definitely geared towards dance. One is kind of our Latin nights with some salsa music, and then there's a swing night. But there's so much great music, and we look forward to people kind of discovering the lineup. And
is this more music than you've had in the past, or it's around the same?
No, around the same, I'd say.
Around the same.
I think it always surprises us. I think we realize, we look at, okay, there's 87 slots to fill, but then we see the volume of kind of artists that we're announcing and all their different event pages. We kind of, oh wow, there is a lot of stuff. We just spend a lot more time with it. We're more familiar than the audience, and kind of take some time for them to dig in.
Yeah. When you mentioned the sort of dance instruction, is that with the retreat series, or is that just?
That's something completely separate.
It
so,
is.
Yeah, so when the bands are out on the Rackham stage at Top of the Park, there are some local instructors that will come up, and while the band is setting up, they'll teach the entire audience out there at Top of the Park, you know, the moves that they can do throughout the rest of the Latin music throughout the night, or maybe throughout the rest of the swing music throughout the night, too.
How dirty dancing of you.
Yeah, besides those 2 nights, I would say there's no other instruction. I think that we're not going to teach you how to just like sway or enjoy just folk music or something. I think that
clapping along to the beat.
Yeah, there's some that might not be worth it.
Well, why don't we talk about the retreat series since I
absolutely.
mentioned it?
So, so the retreat series happens nightly on the lawn of the Power Center, and it happens from 5 to 6 p.m. And we call it like our alternative happy hour, because you can go after work and you can actually do some crazy type of fitness or wellness or yoga activities, and we really try and vary it as much as possible. So this year there's some pretty amazing stuff from some local, really popular studios. I mean, Tiny Buddha Yoga is coming, and A2 Yoga is coming back. But then we also have Acro Yoga, which is where you do it with partners, and they like hold you up in the air, and you have to like balance.
Superman.
Have you done Acro Yoga?
No, but I don't know if I could now.
It's very challenging, I mean, just like from a physical
I don't know if I have the core strength.
Core workout.
Yeah. And then we have a number of more global things in the retreat series as well. There's actually a joust fitness class that is going to happen. So brave it if you dare. But if you thought that wasn't enough, we have a sword handling retreat workout class this year as well. So I don't think they're real swords, but
I would assume they weren't.
And then there's also an Argentinian tango retreat series and a world dance workout, and we have capoeira as well. So usually if you're into standard yoga or anything like that, there's so much more to discover, and it's completely free. And the community partners that host these activities are just top of the line, so stellar, and have an amazing thing that they can spread to the community.
And that's every night, sans Mondays too.
Every night.
And it's a nice spot because we're on you're in the shade in the power center, in front of the Power Center, and I think especially people that in the university community that can kind of wander out of offices and they have their yoga bag or something and they go enjoy the lawn there. I think it's a great lineup.
I've done it myself and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Good. And I mean, I'm sure it kind of depends on what you're into, but I think a lot of people are into yoga and like this other stuff. If you've never tried it before, it's like, why not give it a whirl?
Yeah. Totally.
And the turnout for these things are incredible. I mean, there's some that take a while to catch on, but I mean, these yoga classes are incredibly popular.
Yeah, the whole lawn is just a sea of people.
It's great.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that's not to turn people off. I think it's like really nice. I think
there's plenty of room.
Calm and,
there's plenty of room for everybody.
Yeah.
Do you still do bike nights?
We do.
Yeah.
So every Tuesdays, it's from 6 to 8 p.m. at Top of the Park. We have a great partner in the community, Wheels in Motion. They come in and they pitch their tent and they bring their mechanics, and these guys are just so stellar. And what you can do is you can bike down to Top of the Park, and then they'll give you these free technical tune-ups on your bike. So they'll help you with your brakes or tire pressure or something that you might be having a problem with. And this has really grown in popularity the past few years, and they'll have a line out their little tent and be really helping people out. So it's a great way to come down to the festival on your bike, stay and hang out, and then they'll help you out with it too.
I've actually just learned more and more about how important it is to keep your bike tuned up, because I'm not like I don't even have a bike.
Yeah.
But I just had someone on
You've
another.
heard about it.
I had someone on another show that was talking about how, like, if you ride a lot, at least once a month, you should check, kind of tune it up a little bit, check your chain, your brakes, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important. And as we know, Ann Arbor is a very bike-friendly community.
Yeah.
And if you're riding on the street in your bike lanes, it's a great asset.
Yeah.
We absolutely encourage people to every night of the week, to use bikes to get down to Top. Plenty of parking for them, and it's a great way to get down there.
Well, I love the movies. That's one of my favorite parts about Top of the Park. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the movie lineup?
We'll tell you the plot of each movie.
Kari will start.
I will start.
Yeah.
I will start.
For the next 90 minutes, we are going to tell you.
Picture this.
Can you just act it out?
Oh, yeah, there we go. So the movies happen on a giant inflatable screen out on the Rackham stage, underneath the stars at 10
And after
p.m.
you get your dance on.
After you get your dance on, you can go sit down on a blanket.
Get some popcorn.
And get some
hang out.
popcorn. And it's if you haven't been to a movie out at Top of the Park, it's an amazing atmosphere. There's really nothing that compares to it. It's so much fun. And so the first movie that happens is on the opening Sunday, and that's going to be Wonder Woman this year. And so that'll be a great way to start off the season.
Was that a community pick? Or?
It was a community
Yeah,
pick.
because I know that was hugely popular.
Yeah. And so there are a number of films, and we actually have thousands and thousands of people that actually vote on the movies every single summer, and we give them a big pool of things, and they also write in all their wild cards, and then we sit down and we sift through everything, and we try and tally all the votes for everything. And
For the most part, we tally. Sometimes I go, we can't show that. That isn't appropriate.
So then we take all that and we try and build the best lineup that we can with all of the puzzle pieces in mind, and so that's going to be a really fun way to start it.
So when you're doing, does it have to be like PG-13? Is there like a rating that?
I think generally speaking, we want a wide audience. We want people to be able to bring their kids, and so there are a few our movies that we've certainly screened and I think that we can kind of get by
But they're
with,
just not too risque.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that overall most things are PG-13, and there's certainly some PG or G family movies. So there's a good mix throughout the season to give people options. There's an animated movie, usually one or two.
Kubo and the Two Strings. It's a fantastic film. Really, really family friendly, and has a really awesome story and plot. If you haven't seen it, it'll be super fun to check out.
That's on June 17.
Yeah, and then some other awesome family films. We have Remember the Titans this year, which is just a great story and so much fun to show. Yeah, and then closing out the movie series, we're ending with Mary Poppins, which we haven't shown before at Top of the Park, and
I'm surprised
we're
hasn't
pretty
been shown
excited
before.
to show it because
Usually you do end with sort of a classic.
Yeah.
Classic or musical or sing along, something in that, and that's always fun. It's a great way to kind of say goodbye to.
I love
festival.
that people sing along to movies, even if
Do
they're
you?
not,
Do you?
even if they're not musicals, because I feel like it's a totally different atmosphere when you go see a movie at Top of the Park than if you're in a theater. If you're in a theater and you're singing along, people are gonna be like, "Shut your mouth."
Right.
But if you're at Top of the Park, it's open and it's like everyone's like kind of having drinks and having fun, and it's just a different sort of. It's fun to have that sing along aspect of it.
Yeah, I think you get the hardcore music, the movie watchers, if you came for that title, they'll sit down in front, and then maybe people that are familiar with the movie, really love it, want to kind of enjoy the atmosphere, kind of hang back. And those groups peacefully coexist.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Top,
I've never seen a brawl.
Yeah.
Do you each have like a favorite pick movie that you wanted to?
Oh my gosh. I am particularly excited for the Wes Anderson film that we're showing called Isle of Dogs.
Have you seen it already?
Yes.
I haven't seen it. Is it anything like the Fantastic Mr. Fox? Because I love that movie.
Oh, and it's so brilliant and clever. And so it's an animated film where all dogs are exiled to Trash Island, and a little boy goes in search of his dog that was exiled to Trash Island. And it's so witty, and it's hilarious and brilliant. And so I'm really excited for that film. For sure.
What about you, Mike?
Any number of them. Birdcage, I love.
That is
big
a
Robin
very
Williams
fun
fan,
movie,
so
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Kari loves Isle of Dogs because it
well,
sounds like
dog
Isle
lover.
of Dogs. Yeah.
I love dogs. Yeah.
And you have
I
two?
have 2 dogs. So yeah, I mean,
Okay,
it's
she
just,
got it in there.
Yeah.
You want to give him a shout out?
No,
That's
it's okay. It's okay.
Well, why don't we talk about maybe some of the other stuff? You guys have
Yeah.
a kids zone.
Yes, we do.
And there's a lot of stuff going on in the kids zone this year.
So the Kids Zone is there at Top of the Park. It's open 5 to 8 p.m. nightly, the full 21 nights of Top of the Park. And it's basically the most family-friendly place that you can go when you're there at the festival. And what we love about it is we work with 21 different community partners throughout the entire run of the festival. So we really rely on all the brilliant things and all of the resources within Ann Arbor and all the great educators and instructors that are doing wonderful things for children and for learning in our city, and bring them into Top of the Park, and then they can do hands-on activities that are really specific to them, but also really help the kids learn in tons of different ways, be it hands-on, be it motor skills or movement-based activities. So we really try and have a wide array of things that we offer. And one of the things that we love to do every year is an instrument petting zoo with the Ann Arbor Symphony Orchestra. So they're coming back, and they always bring their instruments, and that's a real joy to see all the kids test and try everything out. So that'll be really fun. Something new this year is Vault of Midnight is coming on the nights that we have Evente Verticali, the video game 3D, 2D screen spectacle that's out at Top of the Park. And so they're going to be doing a Kids Zone activity that mirrors what the spectacle is happening.
that
So they're
sounds like a
going to
blast.
be building 2D, three-dimensional things, and so that'll be pretty fun.
A lot of it is stuff that maybe the kids will walk away with.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Tons of little family souvenirs
Yeah.
and things like
Yeah,
that.
great mask making workshops. There's a
Yeah.
robot workshop at one point a few years ago. There's really neat things.
Yeah.
So is there like an age range? So I have a 2-year-old. Well, she'll
Yeah.
be 2 when Top of the Park's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say that it's about like ages 4 to 14. Some of the activities are, a little bit more crafted or advanced, but also there are tons of activities that are, for that kindergarten pre-K age where kids can come down. And certainly there are a number of activities that don't have an age limit whatsoever. I mean, for example, Leslie Science and Nature Center is coming one of the nights, and they bring all of their critters.
Yeah.
Some of them cute and some of them scary. And so they'll come down and they'll come with all their critters. But like you could be an adult and walk into the tent and have an amazing time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a really great array, and we really try and curate it to a wide variety of ages too.
Yeah, and there's another event kind of series that we've started that similar to the Kid Zone involves different community partners. I wouldn't call it the Adult Zone, but I'd say it's a little bit more towards to older kids or adults. And it's called the Annex Tent.
Does that where you do the trivia?
Yeah, and so it's a space that we're now in our second year of trying, and it features things like spoken word. There's trivia, things like Nerd Night, which the library runs with people speaking on topics that they're passionate about. And some really great programs that in year one got really wonderful turnout. We're excited to bring back. And the Neutral Zone, the Teen Center in Ann Arbor, is going to be having some spoken word artists and DJs in there and such over the course of the season. So we're really looking forward to that series as well.
Well, in mentioning the Neutral Zone, I think you'd be shocked if you haven't already kind of seen these kids in action, like how, I mean, they're actually kind of sort of developed artists. It's not just like what you would expect from like a teenager just messing around,
Yeah, and we're fortunate to have a number of different teen artists on the series this year. There's a couple on the Grove series, the acoustic stage. One is Mary Collins, and then there's this band called Rosewood, who was the winner of this Battle of the Bands the Neutral Zone had in the fall or winter.
Yeah.
And one of the prizes for winning this competition was a slot to play at Top of the Park. And so they're playing on, Tuesday, June 19th, I believe. Does that sound right?
That's right, yeah.
Forgive the audience as they could kind of look on the web, but they're really wonderful, and we're excited to have them. And to be fair, I mean, they won the competition, but they could have and should have applied and be on the series.
They could have
anyhow,
done it on
because
their own.
Yeah,
They were
they're really,
incredibly
really strong,
polished,
and
yeah.
I think people really enjoy it.
Do you still do the Kids Rock series?
We do. So that's 7 to 8 on Sundays, the first 3 Sundays of the festival. And the Ann Arbor District Library is a great partner for us on this. And so I think what's great about Kids Rock is it's not, these are real artists. These aren't, they're not playing like kiddie themed music. I think that they're playing, they're different genres, and they're making it accessible to kids. And so it might involve performance with kids making instruments beforehand and being a part of it.
I mean, it's almost an element of like they involve the kids in the actual show too. So sometimes the kids will actually make something for the show, or come up on stage, or they'll go down into the crowd and sing, and it makes them really feel like they're really at their own little rock concert. So yeah, it's
Well, I
super
like
cute.
that you mentioned that it's not necessarily kids music, where you think of like those sort of nursery rhyme sort of music.
Yeah.
Because when I'm like thinking, all of a sudden my daughter starts singing Lionel Richie all night long, and I'm like, how do you even know the song? And I can't even get to the bottom of it. I'm pretty sure it's on a commercial or something. But like they are into, it's not necessarily like kids music that they need to hear. It's just like the way it's sounds to
Yeah.
them.
I think that's the great part about it. And so you might have a kids rock artist that is kind of a ska band or a punk band,
Yeah.
and they're doing their thing, and it's accessible to the kids. And the volume's a little bit lower at top of the park than it would normally be, so we're certainly protecting their ears and such. But it's a great series.
Yeah.
Glad to
Well,
hear
and
that.
talk about great people watching those kids dance. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's very
Don't
cute.
even get me started.
Yeah.
So parents bring their kids from 7 to 8. They get really tired and
Take 'em home to
take
bed.
Take them right home. Yeah.
They have the babysitter take
Yeah.
them home, and then they can hang out for a little.
Yeah, we haven't
bit.
gotten very many thank you cards for that, but I feel like that's a great feature there.
If you guys heard that, they're waiting for their thank you cards.
Yeah.
But you also have great food at the festival.
Yeah. So 10 food vendors every year, and we have great local partners that serve in this role, and so there's very little turnover. We work with some great people, and they like doing it. I think it's a great way to connect with their customers out at top of the park, and so. This year, amongst the many offerings, there's Chela's Tacos, there's Slow's Barbecue out of Detroit, Hut K, which is Indian food, and really wonderful out there on Packard and Platt. So a great lineup of food, lots of
And
things
getting
to
a
snack on.
variety.
A real variety, yeah.
So you could eat there like every night and eat something different.
Well, the variety is
We
important.
definitely do.
Variety is important to us.
Yeah.
I think Chela's has this thing that I'll call Kari out on that she introduced me to called the walking taco.
It's brilliant.
Which I hadn't heard of prior to the season, but it's like a Fritos bag, and
Yeah.
they dump half the chips out, and they take the bag and they put the rest of the content
Really?
of what would be in a
taco,
taco
yeah.
in the bag, so you have a fork and you can walk and eat
I'm gonna have
this.
to try that.
Yeah.
You should try it. It's great for festival staff who are
On the go.
on the go. But yeah, I think we eat there maybe a little bit too much. Every now and then I have to mix in I mean, we're there the entire run, right? So every now
Yeah.
and then we got to mix in a homemade meal. But we enjoy.
Sure.
We really love our food vendors.
You guys can each pass around who's gonna make the meal.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Trade.
Exactly. Yeah.
Potluck night.
Am I missing anything? Is there anything that?
Oh,
I mean, those are the highlights. I mean, there's really some wonderful music. Top of the Park is this really great showcase of local and regional music, and I think that we kind of sprinkle in some national headliners throughout. And
So it's not just Ann Arbor, Southeast Michigan. You'll get some national people.
yeah,
in there too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so opening up on Friday night, June 8th, is this band called J.C. Brooks and the Uptown Sound. There's this group called Alsara and the Nubatones from Brooklyn that have, I think that they describe their music and sound as East African retro pop. So there's some really neat things that are not local that we were able to kind of bring here that are mixed in with our wonderful local artists.
How does it work? Are people applying to play at Top of the Park, and you're finding people as well?
Yeah, exactly. We have hundreds of artists that submit materials each year. There are a community wish list where people are voting on the things that they would like to see. And it's really synthesizing all these many sources. Also going out and finding things that maybe Ann Arbor wouldn't have thought to vote on and request, or an artist wouldn't have thought to submit, but that we've gone out and found. And it's a delicate balance, because the thing is, people have their favorites and they love to see just that, but if we don't mix in new things, how will you have new favorites? And so it's that balance, but it's great.
So we're almost out of time, but if you could talk about maybe, do you have any hopes for this year's festival as the new executive director?
Hopes. I hope it all goes smoothly. I hope for
No rain.
No rain. I mean, I have a garden as well, and I would love like rain on Mondays.
Yeah. Or
and-
rain earlier in the day.
Rain on Mondays, or between like I don't know 2 a.m. and like 10 a.m. Plenty of time to dry off. So besides that, I'm very hopeful that people come out and experience the program. I think it's really great. I'm excited to meet a lot of new faces and talk about the summer festival.
I would also like to mention one important aspect of Top of the Park is that it's free, and you do love to get those donations.
Oh, Dan, thank you for mentioning that. Thank you for mentioning that, because we need to sneak that in. It is free. 92% of what we do is free. There's ticketed shows, certainly, but 92% of the events. And we rely on a number of different sources, but it's really people that are giving and sustaining and growing this. And so on site at Top of the Park, there's kiosks and families. $5 for an individual, $10 for a family is a requested donation, but that's up to you. We ask that you kind of consider that when you come in. No one's ticketing it. No one's forcing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, for sure.
It's Ann Arbor's festival. We have Ann Arbor in the name of our title, and so I think people invested in it. That's wonderful.
But if you wanted to maybe give a big chunk, you could go online and donate that way too? Or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or stop by our office, meet the staff, just have a conversation with us. Yeah.
Super friendly.
And you guys did recently move, so
We did.
yeah.
Yeah. So people could find us online.
Yeah.
And
They come check out the new space.
Yeah.
Throw a little money your way.
A2sf.org. Yeah, come talk to us. Absolutely. June's a little busy. We'll probably see you at Top of the Park.
Yeah.
But the rest of the year, we're there.
Okay. Well, before we go, why don't you guys give me again what you're most excited about for Top of the Park this year?
I'm going to kick that to Kari first.
Okay.
What am I most excited about? So my husband is from New Orleans, and there is a band coming to Top of the Park called Big Sam's Funky Nation, and they are this boisterous New Orleans brass band that is just like top of the league. They're going to be incredible. So I'm really, really excited for that one artist to play. Yeah.
I know we talked about this during our last visit with you, but I think that the spectacle that's at Top of the Park is some of the things that I'm most excited for.
I agree with you.
And so I'll have people maybe go check that episode out, and that's Polyglot Theater's Ants production. I think will be really neat. But there's so much cool in the top lineup. Just show up, and you'll discover it.
I mean, literally, you could show up like every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you both for sharing with me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
If you'd like to watch this and other CTN series, visit a2gov.org/watchctn. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to get outside and enjoy all that the Ann Arbor Summer Festival has to offer.